Yes, sir. Guys, welcome once again to another reaction, live interaction, vibrations. Of course, we are back with another one, guys. Another vibrations, of course. I'm gonna be waiting for a number of you guys to enter this year. Chat. Let me see how much people in there. Big up, Nikron. Big up yourself. I see your message right there. Big up. I guess you're one of those who still don't know my name spells. There's no R in my name, although it's the significance of the mist intertwines with mystery, which of course ends with RY, but it doesn't have R in my name. But big up yourself, Nick Rondura. By the way, where are you watching from? Where are you guys watching from? Right there, let me know as well. Let me switch over to live chat as well. Also, guys, as you for the individuals who were there the last time, you guys know that you can also give super chats if you wanna, support the channel and support with what we do here. And if you want to give a good vibe or something, or even send a message, it'll pretty much just pop up very clear so that individuals can see, what is being stated right there. But I just want to say I appreciate every single one of you guys. Oh, Kinfield. Okay, I see that you watch from Kinfield. Big up Shannon, yourself as well, watching from Kinfield. Okay, bless up one time. And of course, big up the Kinfield massive. It seems like the rainstorms are in Kinfield, so everybody's inside in Kinfield, I'm guessing. There was serious thunder and lightning earlier on today, guys. That was kind of crazy, right? No doubt about it. But we made it through, man. Never would have made it without you. But let me tell you something, guys. I saw some lightning touching down certain places, and I see individuals outside checking that with the weather, whether the weather is serious or not. People were walking in the rain, soaking wet, and I seen lightning passing in the skies. I was like, yo, you guys not scared of the lightning? They're like, no. So I guess, hey, because keep in mind, I saw a video. Well, I didn't see the lightning strike, but I saw a video of individuals in St. Martin, I think it was, where two individuals got struck by lightning. And I'm thinking of that. I'm seeing lightning passing through the skies in Dominica, and I'm seeing individuals running in the rain or walking in the rain, just chilling like, it's a sunny day or something, man. That was kind of crazy right there. Oh, Shannon. Okay. Bless up. So I'm guessing you guys having like a family kind of situation going on. But big up Shannon and Nikron right there. The Kinfield Massive that are in the building. There's a number of other individuals, but they I don't think. By the way, the live chat, for you to be able to chat in the live, I know some individuals will message me, Mr. Lix, we cannot chat in the live. That's because only subscribers can literally chat in the live. So you might see a number of individuals are not individuals interacting in the live is because they are not subscribed. I'm not sure if they have a YouTube account. Whether you have a YouTube account or not, you can still, pretty much be in the chat and see what's going on, but you cannot type in the chat right there. So I just had to point this out right there. Also, like I indicated before, if you want to give a super chat, or if you want to give let me see what's there, super chat, super stickers, and giftings, that can also be done right there. I know a number of persons tend to watch the videos after the live is done, because you can pretty much tell from the last one that has 1,000 something individuals there. I think the maximum concurrent viewership was about 54. So yeah, I'm just letting you guys know that if you want to see something in the chat, you have to subscribe. That's how it's set right there. But if you don't want to subscribe and you just want to see what's going on, then that's perfectly fine as well. So so I'm just gonna wait for like the usual 10 minutes to let individuals come in, and then Yeah. Let me see. Shannon is saying I subscribed in all your channels, to all your channels, I'm guessing. You definitely are not subscribed to all my channels. I have a US channel as well, but I'm guessing you're talking about the Caribbean channels. My Caribbean channels are Ariel Dominica. My other one is, yeah, this one, Brbptv. The other one is Mr. Leaks Vlogs. That used to be Mr. Leaks Commentary channel. And then you have the Mr. Leaks Reacts channel. So that's 4 of them. Ariel Dominica, Brbptv, Mr. Leaks Vlogs, and Mr. Leaks Reacts right there. On the Mr. Leaks Reacts channel, I tend to post more daily on that channel. On the Brbptv, I'm more centered, more on the media aspect, since Brbptv is pretty much a media channel, or always has been a media channel. It's just that I started incorporating different things based off the things that I was seeing on the channel, what needed to be done. But I decided to focus more on the podcasts and interviews, and even going to do street shout outs as well when it comes on to Brbptv. A number of persons actually expressed to me that their interest for doing media, news, kind of newsworthy vibes. But it seems like when people say something, you have to take it with a grain of salt, because when it comes down to actually doing it, implementing it, it is not necessarily done, or people tend to chicken out or back out when it comes down to these situations right there. But I'll just do what I gotta do with the reactions and the vlogs. A number of persons actually indicated to me that they wanted to see more vlogs, because I tend to do the exciting vlogs, like when there's events and stuff. I tend to do these things, and but people, like, they also miss the videos where I used to just chill and just go different villages or something like that, or just drive around. Persons will tell me that they miss that kind of vibes as well. So I will see. It depends on what I'm doing during that time. But if I'm going to Rose or something, I can probably do a vlog like that. But that's where the vlogs are at. Ariel Dominica, I still have a video in the bike show I have not uploaded yet for Ariel Dominica. That's to tell you how crazy it is right there. If I'm in the US, things can get a little easier when it comes on to, the editing part. But generally, when I'm in Dominica, I do most of the editing. It's not like I can hand it on. It's just that I am just, a person that, like, okay, I like the way I do certain things. That's the way I like to see it, so I want to do it myself, So that's how I tend to do my videos right there. But let me see how long we have remaining so I can start this stuff. Okay, just a few more seconds, like 1 more minute. And then we're going to get into the vibrations right there. I see the thing is going. Am I moving okay? Is everything okay? Let me bring this down to 6,500. Because sometimes it just drops, the beat rate drops. Jerry Nelson, good night. I'm hearing just got home. Yeah, big up. Jerry, you were in the rain, man. You were in the rainfall, bro. Oh, I'm thinking you probably from Jerry. Are you from Kinfield as well? Are you from Kinfield as well? Let me know in the live chat box. I don't want to stay too long in that. Okay, guys, let me just start this stuff right there so we can get this thing going. Make sure volume's up. Okay, guys, let's get this thing going.
Mr. Speaker, allow me to refer to my notes, because there's so many things happening in housing and in Roseau Central. I want to make sure that I capture every single thing.
Yeah, permission granted. You may proceed.
Phone call is kind of close to Roseau.
I'll tell you. I'll let you know. I would like to offer warm greetings to the esteemed members of this Honorable House, and supportive constituency of Roseau Central. And I'm aware that many of them are listening today. And they ask, what's in it for me? So I encourage all of you to remain engaged, because there is something from everyone in this 1.4 billion budget. Today, I want to express my endorsement on the budget put forth in this House by the Minister of Finance, Honorable Irvin McIntyre. The budget proposal reflects a comprehensive report by highlighting our gains and forging ahead with continued development, all in an effort to elevate the lives of every citizen in Dominica. Mr. Speaker, I stand before you not just as a representative of the government, but as a champion for progress, resilience, and opportunities in housing and urban development. Mr.
You know,
Speaker,
guys, I always hear them talking about something of the dealings that they are there for elevation, for championing the cause, you know, for forward progressiveness, brothers and sisters. But you don't tend to see that in Dominica. Why do they keep on saying these things? And it seems like I'm gonna be pointing out a number of lies in this in what she's saying right there, because that's a lie. Because you cannot be telling me that you guys are looking forward to a progressive standing and elevating a modernization of Dominica's economy, and for some reason we're not seeing that, you know.
the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development is at the forefront of unfolding the dynamic Dominica. And I am proud to say that we have had a remarkable year. We are making great strides. However, I must admit that climate change and the erratic weather patterns has kept us on our toes. But I want to assure the public.
How climate change has kept us on our toes, yet still it's not us that. Well, I'm guessing she's probably talking about the hurricanes and stuff, but the hurricanes happened like 7 years ago. So I'm not really sure. Okay, let's give and take 3.5 years from that. Okay, you suffered for 3.5 years. Then there was the whole Rona situation that, of course, pretty much helped Dominica, because Dominica received a number of funds from the World Bank and other places. Dominica even received salaries, not from the government, but people were getting salaries, I think half their salaries during that time. So they didn't even need to work, but they were making monies during that time. So I'm not really sure what she's talking about right there, but let's continue.
That as our weather patterns evolve, so too we are adapting. And we shall
I'm happy, Shannon, I'm happy that you see that right there. Lies already starting. Anyways, look the other one at the back there. But
remain steadfast in building new homes and implementing new resilient methods to mitigate against climate change.
Now, guys, I understand the building homes business, but what exactly did they do to build hurricane resilient homes? What it seems like the homes that they're building aren't that much different. Maybe I don't know. Maybe you guys can let me know in the live chat as well. Let's continue.
Our aim, Mr. Speaker, is to become the first climate resilient country. And we are consistently assessing our housing stock, making recommendations when necessary in order to make resilience a Dominican way of life. In fact, as we currently speak, we have been in collaboration with the World Bank and Build Change, and there is an ongoing survey which is going across the country in which technical professionals are sent out and they're examining the resilience of our homes, our construction practices of diverse houses, and to establish a modernized standard for construction, retrofitting, and upkeep.
Okay, it's nice to say these things, but is there any news article or is there anything like that indicated what she's saying? Because if you're saying you're sending individuals out for them to do training, for them to be able to do these things that you're saying that they can be doing or should be doing or might be able to do, wouldn't we see some articles or anything like that? When Obama picked me up and the other girl from Calibishi, that was all over the news, even though we were not the ones sending it out, but it was all over the place. Even Skerrit was the one posting me on his stuff when Obama then picked me up. Anyways, let's continue. So it will be interesting to find out if there's any articles that indicate what she's saying, because if we don't have the proof, it's just her word of mouth. That's all we have.
Mr. Speaker, in what is forecasted to be an active hurricane season, we are doing everything that we can in the ministry to fast-track processes for those who desire to build and enforce as well the resilient building codes. At this moment, Mr. Speaker, there are 10 housing sites that are currently under construction in Dominica. And these developments will offer a total of 245 units. Essentially, we are building resilient settlements across Dominica. We have housing sites that are nearing completion in the North Penville, in Vickers and Paybush.
Guys, I know they are building houses, but how is it resilient? How is it resilient? That's what I want to know. I honestly do not know. Let me see what you guys are saying right there. Shannon, that's why I said here the lies already. Yeah. Jerry Nelson championing what exactly? Championing what exactly? I don't know. This lady is delusional. I believe so. Cynthia, big up yourself one time for being a part of this here vibrations. Shannon is saying the home's not even strong. Yeah. How can they be resilient if they're not strong? I guess we'll only know when the hurricane passes to see if these homes are standing. But I just remember the first settlement that they did with the PT Savan people. When they shift them over, the houses that gave them were leaking on normal rainfall. I really don't understand what she's trying to say there. But let's go.
Woodford Hill as well, coming down on the west coast, Kinfield East and Trafalgar in interior. Then we get to Point Michelle and Scottsdale and Grand Bay. And then we just commenced our 10th site, Mr. Speaker. You know, a couple months ago, I called my dear colleague, Honorable Shakira, and I said, you know what? Rosa South must be the next major housing in Dominica. Because she has been very patient, Mr. Speaker. And I know that her constituents have been waiting eagerly.
Yeah, they've been waiting for 20 years. Can you imagine that? 20 years, and since 2014, they're waiting for Melissa. Almost 10 years, 8 years past. Melissa, oh, yeah.
The time has come for Rosa South to benefit from our housing revolution. I am pleased to announce that in the span of just a couple months and a quick response from MMC, we now have a massive housing site in Eggleston. The foundations have been laid, the walls are coming up. There are 2 levels of individual homes, garden-style apartments with stunning picturesque views of the Caribbean Sea. Fortune Hotel, you can see the lights in Roseau as well, Mr. Speaker. You know, it's a wonderful site.
It's nice to have nice views. It's great. But is the economy doing better as a result of the views? No, don't get me wrong. I'm always for building things for individuals who are not able to do so. But it seems like it's not building on the ability of people's ability to do something. It's building on the ability for people to be loyal to you. So it's not only the individuals that cannot do something, but those that can do something, but because the economy is not doing well, they cannot do nothing. So as a result of that, you're saying you're building for people that cannot do. And the individuals who are causing the economy to go down is literally the people that are building houses for people that cannot do things for themselves. And they're the ones that creating people to not have the ability to create for themselves.
And I must say, you know, they say we have to save the best for last. Well, every last one keeps getting better and better. And I want to tell the member of the Roseau South constituency that the value of property in your area, in that area, is going to significantly increase with the state-of-the-art project.
It's one thing for land and these kind of things to increase. It's another thing when the people don't have the ability for them to buy land. Just like the banks in Picard. The banks in Picard, from my understanding, are just accepting whatever they get because normally they would take the houses and the apartments that certain people have built who still are on mortgage. But because nobody is looking to buy in that area, nobody's looking to buy these things, the banks just agree, okay, that's it. So if properties and land is increasing in certain areas and people are not able to buy these lands or sell them, you know, successfully, then I don't think that is a good thing. So
it will be a truly magnificent asset, Mr. Speaker. So far, we have injected about 4.5 million into these homes. Okay. And that does not even include the Great Walls of Eggleston that has already been built in the same area, yes. Additionally, we also have plans and have already identified location for more housing in St. Joseph, in Folio, in Thibault.
So it's interesting that they're looking at building more houses, but they're not looking to build things that can actually help people become independent of them. Because she's excited to build houses for people, and like I told you guys before, for those of you who actually listen to what I said before in previous videos and reactions and this kind of things there, it seems like there's an effort leading to the 2030 agenda, and they have said that before as well, and that is on the basis where no one will own anything. And as a result of not having the ability to own anything, what's going to happen is that they will own you. They will own all the property. If you decide you're misbehaving, if you decide you're speaking out, then they're going to take away that ability from you. That is what is happening. This is why people are still complaining and saying, hey, where's my land title? Up to now, people don't get land titles yet, no, brothers and sisters. People don't get title for the places that they are living. Which person you know get titles from the government? Because it's been donkey years since Reginald Austria himself stated that the titles are on the Attorney General's desk. That has been years ago. And up to now, the people don't get it. So all you don't think, all you not seeing what's going on, that is, boy, I tell you, boy.
In Castle Bruce and Roseau Central, Mr. Speaker, the proof is in the pudding, Mr. Speaker. We don't give false promises and don't follow up, Mr. Speaker. We deliver.
You deliver by building houses for people. That is not the job of the government. The job of the government is to elevate the economy so that the people can be independent. We claim we have how much years of independence, but we're not really seeing it amongst the people, because the people have to go. Remember all the lines that were jam-packed going to financial centers so people can see if they can get a little money? That happened all over Dominica. They created that mind frame to the point where they know that the people were dependent on that, and then they pull it away. They pull it, all you, boy, humans, boy, all you, boy, I don't understand. I really don't understand. Let me see, Shannon is saying, all them Palebs doing is selling a dream. Yeah, I think all them Palebs are literally concocting together to say the same thing, even though what they're saying is lies. That's pretty much what I was saying in the reaction I did on the Mr. Leaks reaction, guys, today. Nick Ron is saying, them apartments falling apart already. So I'm guessing you know this. So how is it resilient? Maybe the people that are living in the struggle are the ones resilient. Maybe that's what they're talking about. Shannon, 20 years, our Papa God. People wake up. I don't understand. I can't. I really cannot. I don't know. I really don't know, guys. To tell you the truth. Nick Ron, you cannot give me a house and I cannot make money in the country. Exactly. How you give me a house and I still have to come to you to get money? Guys, doesn't that song intentional to you? To me, it sounds intentional.
We remain committed to providing housing across Dominica where no man is left behind.
So what about building jobs? They need jobs. Dominicans need jobs. Jobs, and more jobs, she say. Well, hopefully we'll get to that part.
The Bible recognizes that affordable housing is a basic human right.
The Bible never say that. The Bible say if you don't work, you won't eat. The Bible say by the little folding of the arms, slumbering and sleeping, if you don't work, poverty will come upon you. So I don't know which part of the Bible she reading. Maybe the Mormon Bible she reading.
So when they're busy walking, we building. When they're talking, we tiling. And when they're watching, we stepping it up a notch, Mr. Speaker. And while they do nothing, we're busy doing something.
Building house for people is not doing something. That is not your duty as government to do. All of a sudden, this is a socialistic and principle right there, you know. They are turning Dominica into a socialism kind of thing. Where the government is Cuba, that's what happened in Cuba, you know. The government, you need a place to stay, okay, we'll put in apartments to stay. And then we'll feed you afterwards. It's not about, oh, work for yourself and let's see if we can develop things. This is one of the reasons why I believe that the lighting thing in the cricket stadium was literally, willfully not put up so that Dominicans cannot elevate. I strongly believe so, guys. What are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on that? And the clapping.
Again this year, Mr. Speaker, I'm being told by hurricane shelter managers that just now they're going to be irrelevant because they see a drastic decrease in the number of individuals who are seeking refuge during this hurricane season.
Well, only put them in houses. But the very people have to be running from these houses when to go hurricane shelter. So you think the apartments only make is hurricane shelters? I mean, look, one of the individuals in the live chat indicated that the houses are breaking down. So they will still have to leave these houses to go and find hurricane shelters. It's interesting that when Hurricane Beryl was passing and I put out the different shelters that people could actually go to, Portsmouth didn't have any, no? I don't know if the pilot lapsed on that or the pilot probably forgot. But Portsmouth didn't have any hurricane shelters listed. It had in Paybush, it had in certain places in the northern part, but there was none for Portsmouth, and Portsmouth is the second town And you have the PAL rep right there. So I guess.
You know why that is, Mr. Speaker? This is because every home that we build now is, in fact, a private, lifelong hurricane shelter.
Can you really say that is true? The individuals who are part of these houses, can you really say that is true? Do you feel secure? Because I know there are a number of them who watch my videos. Can you truly say that that is the case? You feel secure in that point? Let's continue.
Mr. Speaker, with the efforts of MMC and the major other construction companies, we've seen tangible outcomes in Woodford Hill and Eggleston, and it speaks volumes to our progress. With the Prime Minister's visionary approach to build back better and to harness our local skills, we have employed and empowered hundreds of local contractors across Dominica. Mr. Speaker, a construction worker who could only build a step in 2020 now has a construction expertise, experience, and knowledge to now present himself as a qualified contractor. Hundreds of families across Dominica have benefited from our housing boom, not just in skills development, but socio-economic gains, and of course, the receipt of the greatest asset called a home. Mr. Speaker, one of our most criticized projects in housing happens to be our most successful projects. The opposition forces are the ones who are criticizing this project. Mr. Speaker, this is the Housing Recovery Project. This owner-driven implementation approach is one of the first of its kind globally that the World Bank has funded, serving as a model for other countries. And under this program, modern concrete homes are being built free of charge on the property of the owner. Mr. Speaker, where else would a government give such a massive asset to a family? And that is because the Roosevelt Skerrit-led administration cares about the well-being and the growth of its citizens. And I want to tell them that we have achieved remarkable milestones. We had 320 construction starts, 253 practical completions, 231 homes were handed over. The HRP project, Mr. Speaker, stands as a beacon of hope because it is in this project we ended up assisting 147 households in regularizing their land tenure status.
Guys,
this is a major achievement,
guys,
Mr. Speaker.
What do you make of what she's saying right there? What do you make? I gave my thoughts already. She's just pretty much reiterating the same thing over and over, and I'll pretty much be giving the same points. But let me see what you guys are saying right there. 20 years up, Papa. Okay. Melo for Rosewood. Nikron, you cannot give me a house and I cannot. Yeah, I just read that. Shannon, okay, then people have a house, fine, but they need jobs, yeah. Just build houses and don't build factories for people. Yeah, that's one of the things that they should be doing. Dominica is an agricultural nation. Why not build factories and then put people to work? Well, I know the answer to that is because they don't want people to be working. They want people to be dependent on them. When people are dependent on them, then they become their servants and they don't even notice. If you talk, this is why people saying, don't talk too loud or don't say much, or when they give you something, you cannot say anything. They're literally giving you, it's like you giving the government your money to manage your money for you. The government is giving you back your money, and then the government is making you feel that it is their money that they're giving you. So you have to be loyal on the basis of your own money. That is something else. Or CBI passports, that is your birthright money that should be used for you. They're giving you stuff from your birthright money and then making you feel that what that money and what these houses or whatever they're giving you is actually from them, when it is your birthright to obtain these things. I found this very, very interesting idea. Yeah, we need proof, man. We need proof. Nikron, this not true because most of them separation in the apartment is sheetrock. Yeah, I've been in one or two of these things, and let me tell you, I know it's definitely not hurricane resistant, unless sheetrock is something that is hurricane resistant. I don't think so at all. And furthermore, sheetrock is normally used in certain weather conditions that is not for the Caribbean, because you need sheetrock in the United States because of the 4 seasons. Dominica has 2. So that can be, well, maybe it's a different type of sheetrock.
Additionally, I hope you're listening, because the ministry anticipates awarding 108 contracts to construct homes including those in the East Coast relocation and as well as the original housing recovery project. This will be the largest number of awards ever undertaken during this time frame, and so we are gearing up for that, Mr. Speaker. We recently had an increase in the construction grant ceiling from 140,000 to 150,000. And so we expect contractors to be more financially empowered and to take up on larger and more ambitious projects. And I must say that I have to commend the HRP staff under the dictatorship of Dr. Ginora Joseph, who confront the challenges under the dictatorship of Dr. Ginora Joseph. That I have to commend the HRP staff under the dictatorship of Dr. Ginora Joseph.
Under the dictatorship. Guys, this is just me, or I think she used the wrong word there. Dictatorship. Well,
confront the challenges head on, fueled by the belief that no obstacle is insurmountable. I must commend Dr. Joseph. I enjoy collaborating with people like that because where obstacles do not impede our progress and no hiccup will stop our work. Mr. Speaker, we are about tangible improvements in the lives of our citizens. Families have better homes. Communities will see enhanced facilities. They will be more resilient and prepared for the future and the climate. The increase in the construction grant ceiling will spur innovation, attract new investment, and most importantly, create a ripple effect of prosperity across greater sectors. Mr. Speaker, we give our best, and we give the gift of a safe, resilient home, and that is because that is how we ourselves would want to live. It's exactly how we would want our children to live.
That's not true, Melissa. That's not true. Because if that was the case, you would make your children go through that same thing. You're not even living that lifestyle, but you're talking about that's how you want them to live? Really? Jerry Nelson is saying she getting training too from, she getting training from her husband. And the others fall in line with her. So she training the others. The purpose of an economy is to enhance the well-being of the people. Yeah. An economy is essential to help improve a community or society. Do we really have a healthy economy? Of course not. This is why they're talking about building houses. The government building, first of all, that is not even supposed to be part of the government. That should be part of the private sector, where certain private entities are doing these things for people who are in need. The government should not even be involved in that. But the government has decided it wants to be involved in that. Okay, great. You build for the individuals who are in need, who can't afford, they have disabilities, they are elderly folks, and so forth, right? That's what you do. You don't say you're going to be doing things for the majority of people in the country because you're building apartments all over the place. Apartments that they cannot own, apartments they will never get titles for. You can give people titles for apartments. The very government say all buildings built by the government is owned by the state. Skerrit literally stated that on the radio and then made a video to post on Facebook so that people will know, even though he coming to tell the people in first person that you guys, the buildings are yours. But on the radio, he telling them, no, the houses are the state's own. This is why long-time Reginald, I'll say it again, long-time Reginald indicated what? That the titles are on the Attorney General's desk. Up to now, it has not been done. Why? Because there's no titles coming to the individuals right there.
To be free from...
Let me see what you guys have to say as well. Cynthia, yes, dictatorship is for real. Okay. Yeah, it's very interesting.
Anxiety and fear of survival during a storm. And Mr. Speaker, I just had my summer camp and I asked the children, how did you pan out during Tropical Storm Beryl? And they said to me, well, we ate all our snacks and we fell asleep. And that is what we want to hear from every elderly person, every family, every child in Dominica, that whether it is a hurricane or a storm, you can sleep soundly and you don't have to worry about your roof being removed, Mr. Speaker, and question your survival.
Let them stay inside there. Let a hurricane come. So far, we are not really getting any real thing because there's Sahara dust, and Sahara dust is what's pretty much stopping the hurricanes from developing. Let the Sahara dust stop and let a hurricane develop and come and hit Dominica. And we will see how much people will be eating snack and going and sleep.
And Mr. Speaker, that is why I say, that day will come where every single citizen across the hills and valleys of Dominica will stand up with no fear to a Cat 5 hurricane, untouched, unmoved, and unaffected.
Let's hope so.
In the heart of the Kalinago territory, our commitment to resilience shines bright. 36 homes handed over and 6 more under construction. We have been a bit delayed due to the structure of the land tenure issue in the Kalinago territory and access to the sites of the beneficiaries. But with the help of the NAO, we rise above that and we are making things happen, Mr. Speaker. And so in the coming year, in collaboration with the ministry responsible for Kalinago upliftment, as well as the Kalinago Council, my ministry will explore the creation of both a land use development plan and a cadastral plan for the Kalinago territory.
Okay, with the Kalinago territory, I understand certain people might need homes because it seems like there's a level of poverty in there. No doubt about it. They need homes down there. True. However, who is responsible for the Kalinago territory? Isn't it the chief? And if the chief is responsible for the Kalinago territory, will you guys be going to the chief, or will you guys be doing your own thing, bypassing the chief? Because right now, Mrs. Annette Sanford is the chief. Have you guys gone through her, or shouldn't she be the one speaking about that? It'll be interesting. Did Annette? I don't know. Well, today I think they said it was the last day. So today or tomorrow, whichever brothers and sisters, did she give a speech in that regard as a Kalinago chief? I remember seeing her in the beginning. Did she? Let's continue.
Mr. Speaker, I see more developments before me. Every year, I see more skilled tradesmen climbing the career ladder. I see more economic growth, and I see jobs and jobs and jobs.
Well, Melissa, if you guys are creating all these buildings and you're actually utilizing these people for these buildings, then of course you will see more jobs. But when you're talking about jobs as if jobs just falling out from the sky is not necessarily accurate at all in an economy that is not doing well. The economy's viability for job creation, that has to be doing well so that it can stand on its own to create jobs for people. So when you're talking about jobs and more jobs be created, let's not get too far-fetched. Especially when businesses have to be lessening their staff because they cannot pay. That's not the reason why only do hire nurses in the hospital.
And more jobs in the sector, Mr. Speaker. For example, when I speak to the contractors, when I go on site, I always have conversations with the contractors. They have an average of 5 to 6 workers, some of them as much as 10 workers on the site. And if you do the math on these new contracts that are to come, when you calculate, that is a minimum of 400, maybe to a maximum of 800 workers. And Mr. Speaker, that is not taking into consideration the ladies who will come on site to cook for the men and offer lunch, to sell their snacks, and the outsourcing of concrete firms to come and pour their concrete for them, Mr. Speaker. I've been on site and I've seen teenagers helping their parents to tile and learning how to tile, and how to paint, Mr. Speaker.
Well, maybe they're bringing their children, instead of children going out and play. Maybe they're bringing their children because the children are pretty much like interns. So the children are doing it for free while they are able to keep more of the money. But then again, it's still going to go back to the children. But that's probably why you see the children there instead of actual workers who can actually work. Let me see what you guys are seeing right there. So Nikon is saying, and it still have people under tarpaulin. Yeah, it still have people under tarpaulin. Look at where yellow. Well, yellow is a different story. So let's leave yellow. Hello, they fell asleep. Lies have them sleeping. You mean the people at the back? I'm guessing. Shannon is saying, in my opinion, the government is not opposed to be doing those petty things. Not supposed to be doing those petty things there, like building houses. Yeah, the government, this is not the government's job. The government is not supposed to be doing these things. This is more supposed to be handled by the private sector on certain firms, and maybe they can reach out to the government for government assistance, but the government is not supposed to be doing this. But it seems like there's a reason why they're doing that. And the reason why they're doing that is towards the 2030 agenda. They have been saying it loud and clear for people to see, and people just don't want to listen to what the man is saying. Well, then again, I guess they don't really listen at all. Business closing down, it's so many business closed down, boy. So it's kind of like when they're looking at the economy and they say, hey, we rising, look us rising in the economy, our economy going up. Keep in mind, we fell by, I think, by negative 17%. So the economy has been doing bad for a while. It still has to climb back to zero. So on the basis of climbing back, they will say, hey, well, look, we increased by 2.3%. Next year, projected to increase by another 1.3%. When the rest of the world has already been increasing by 1.52%, already above their previous growth, we fell behind. And falling behind, some people might say is Hurricane Maria. No, brothers and sisters, we were falling behind, long time back. It's just as a result of even Hurricane Maria helped us to the point where we got a number of debt forgiveness and people were sending monies and this kind of things there. That's why people say in Skerrit was going to a number of places to see if you could get money for Dominica to get because of Hurricane Burial. That's something else. But anyways, guys, let me continue. Let me see. Willie Bethel, big up yourself one time. Yes, Mr. Link. When Posse change, that will change. I coming down for creamy. You Chinese mean? Chinese you mean? Or when Chinese take over? Well, let's hope Chinese will take over, guys. Because when Chinese take over, they come to take over, eh? Boy. If we default on our debts in Dominica, problem we? And a trade man like me so cannot get a proper job. That's very interesting indeed. Anyways, guys, let's continue.
So this is a skill that they will have for life. And it's an opportunity for them to learn and make a business out of this on the side when they grow older and help them to earn a living, Mr. Speaker. In the last year, we successfully handed over 136 homes, and we are looking to complete and hand over 349 homes. If you do the math again, Mr. Speaker, where you say you have an average of 3 people per household, this means you'd have about 1,500 people living in brand new homes from last year, and this year coming in resilient, hurricane-proof homes in Dominica. This is a working government that responds to the needs of its people. Forging ahead, we have successfully regularized the squatter status of many families across the country, and we are gearing up to address the long-standing issue of the Melvin Hall squatter subdivision and Layu Valley. And Mr. Speaker, we are ensuring that there are lots of people who have been squatting on government land for 10, even 20 years. And now they'll be given the opportunity to purchase this land at a subsidized rate, enabling them to own land, own a piece of Dominica, and to build generational wealth with their children.
To me, they're not the laws of Dominica. Isn't the laws of Dominica, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when I grew up, I learned that if you squat on the land for I think 10 years and it's government land there, if you squat on government land for 10 years, the government, without any interruption, without anything like that, I believe that the government has a right to give you a title. Why then is Melissa saying that they will give you the land at a subsidized price? Well, and you're talking about generational wealth. Well, based on my understanding from how things were back in the day, I'm thinking that's how it still is. You're probably just telling people, oh, you're going to give them and make people try to pay and so forth, because people don't really know the laws when it comes down to that. I might be wrong in that regard, but that's what I think it used to be. If you're squatting on somebody else's land, that self can be an issue. But if you're squatting on government land, public land, and there's no issue in that regard, you then are able to gain a title for that land after you spend, I think, 7 or 10 years in that regard. So why is she talking about this? If you give the people the titles for them squatting on land without actually paying, then that means that they will actually have a better chance of passing on generational wealth. Not true.
Looking ahead, we also plan to construct 108, including the East Coast relocation, 8 homes under Calinago post-Hurricane Maria project, and the start of 2 additional homes in the Marigot constituency. And speaking of Marigot,
I saw somebody say something there. Chinese, 99% of the workers is Chinese. I'm not gonna lie in that regard. When I saw different projects around Dominica, I literally saw that it was the Chinese. The Chinese had different settlements. Even when they were trying to do the Kalibishi stuff, the Chinese had settlements in the school. They were doing some working thing, and the Chinese were settling between Kulibistri and Kolio. They were living in containers. They will leave it in containers in that particular area right there. So when Chinese come, they tend to set up themselves so they can go and do the work. They will be the ones getting the money. And then they might have a few Dominicans and they say, but look, Dominicans working there. So it's not too far-fetched to believe that right there.
Mr. Speaker, you know, after the member for Marigot spoke today, you know, I gave 2 claps, only 2 claps. Because it's not that I support the proposals that he posed to the House today, but the fact that he never mentioned the housing needs of his people. Not even in a negative way that they usually do, you know, Mr. Speaker. And so that means that I am doing a remarkable job, so I give myself 2 claps.
Oh, I thought she meant she gave him 2 claps, but no, she said she gave in herself the 2 claps for what he said.
But Mr. No, he didn't mention housing, and that means things good. Things good.
It means he's probably more focused on actually providing things where people can actually build wealth for themselves. Instead of building houses, and then you build houses and you have no idea how to create generational wealth. You know, to create generational wealth, you literally have to put things in place that creates money. And what creates money? Activity in the economy. So if you don't have no activity in the economy, what are you talking about generational wealth? The house that you did not give them title for will create generational wealth, Melissa? Come on.
Things working out, because they like to complain, they like to highlight the negative things. Once it's negative, they want to talk
It's
about.
not about negative, Melissa. It's the facts. Dominica needs jobs for them to create generational wealth, to start the process of creating generational wealth. Then when they get jobs, they are able to buy things that buy assets, not those things, because you can buy liabilities as well, but to buy things and have insurance and all those kind of things there that will then create generational wealth. Is another thing where the school fails as well, because to create generational wealth, based on how the rich does it, you need trusts. 2 things you mainly need. You need a trust or multiple trusts, because it seems like some of the rich also have trusts for the children. There's a bigger trust, the children have trusts, and then you have the insurance companies backing up, life insurance companies, and backing up these trusts. Then they pool equity and all these kind of things. If they die, then the death benefit pays it off, and then the property goes back to boy. That is how you create there's a whole, they don't teach these things in school. I had to learn these things in Washington, D.C. I'm checking what kind of world am I living, because I thought you just had to work hard. You work your 9 to 5, then you retire. Hopefully you'll have money. That is not the case. That is a state for poverty, brothers and sisters. This is why a number of persons, especially the individuals who are not married, and there's no surplus of extra monies coming, they just work the 9 to 5 and working for Social Security. Look at what I think about Social Security. That is, if you get Social Security at that time, I even hear sometimes it's not just saying, oh, you reach a certain age and you get Social Security. No, I think you have to file for Social Security every year or every other year, something of that sort, until it kicks back in. Boy, that is something else. Anyways, that's one thing.
With positive, they don't want to mention it. But it begs me to wonder, Mr. Speaker, does he really care about the people of Marigot? Because not once did he make an appeal for housing for his people. And I know that the most pressing issue for the people of the Marigot constituency is housing.
That's not true. The most
The
pressing
Prime Minister gave
issue,
him
that's
extra
lying,
time.
Melissa. Melissa, you're lying to the people. The most pressing issue for the people of Dominica is not housing. It is jobs, Melissa. How can you say housing is a pressing issue? You give a man a house and the man's still hungry in the house. If you give a man a job, he might not have a house. He might get a house a little later on, but he can eat. He can do something. He can buy something for him to go and make another job for himself, a side job or something. So he can then create a little more finance so he can think. I help people with accounting, you know. I have taken a number of people out of debt already. So I know what it takes for you to do things. You most likely need an additional job. And that is as a result of the monies that you've created from your main job. Where you can get to do an additional job over the weekend or something of that sort. I took an individual that's making $450 a month to buy land. He has his boss and all these kind of things there. So I know what it takes. Obviously, what do you call that again? Hurricane Maria helped him because he had to join with Dominica, and Dominica was paying really good. and he also joined with Samaritan's Purse and Samaritan's Purse in helping build a number of places, build back houses, of paying the people really well. Imagine, Samaritan Purse wanted to pay people in US dollars, we guys. But they say not to pay them in US dollars. The same thing they did for Clay Harbor. Clay Harbor wanted to pay people in US dollars. But the government tell them no, not to pay them in US dollars. Why? Because they are fearful that the government workers will leave government jobs to go and work Clay Harbor because they have money. That's to tell you how poor the government workers have been paid. That is what people need, Melissa. Jobs, not house. Man will stay by their parents and save up to make their house, and when they leave, they spend 5 years working and by their parents, and then they can leave and build their house cash. Or go back into agriculture and not understanding. Anyways, guys, let's continue.
To be able to speak on behalf of his people, Mr. Speaker, in the highest court of the land, and at one time did you ask for one house for somebody in your constituency? But instead, necessary. You want a house where men can visit prostitutes. You ask for a brothel. You ask for a brothel. And this is his second time he's coming to this house and asking for a brothel.
He asked for brothel? Well, maybe there's a need for brothel over there. I don't know if that is what he says. Sometimes these people lie and make you think. But if he did say that, that's tough. That's crazy. But hey, it is what it is. They need jobs. Brothels will create jobs. In these times, I think he probably, from my understanding of what could have transpired, it seems like, based off what they're saying, based off what they're running the economy, it seems like Melissa them are creating an environment where brothels will be created. I don't know. But it just sounds in far-fetched that these words will come out from I don't know if it's Paris or the other one, Anthony. I don't know. I didn't see any reactions. Brothers and sisters, you guys can help me out in that regard right there. But I'm sure she's just, twisting words,
You're asking for homes, but he's serious about it because this is the second time he's mentioning it. He's asking for this, Mr. Speaker. He's not asking for a house. He's asking for cosmetic surgery here. And I'm assuming that when you speak of cosmetic surgery and brothels, it must be the Brazilian butt lifts and the breast augmentation, because that's what aligns with brothels.
Boy, guys. No, let me see what you guys have to say right there, boy. Let me see that. Was that Kallian? Kallian, big up yourself one time. Kallian, where are you watching from? Willie Bethel, where are you watching from as well? Let me know that in the live chat. Yes, Mr. Link, 6 people on the street in Posse. You causing, okay, I don't know what is that, but okay. Daniel A, big up yourself one time. But why is Melissa sounding like that? And that gesture, she full of herself with that puppet Mr. Speaker who working for them. Yeah. The Mr. Speaker should not be the Mr. Speaker at all. Why? Because he's catering to the people who he supports or is presently supporting.
I don't know where the member of Marigot was really going with this. At one point, I thought he would maybe start offering Rasta recovery baths for the BBLs. That is where his conversation was.
Let's reach on BBLs for cosmetics. Boy.
What's going? But Mr. Speaker, this is a man.
Oh God.
This is a man who said today that the man is the head of the home. I agree. Yes, that is a fact. The member is a man. He's a father. He's a leader of the Commonwealth of Marigot. And this is what he proposes for the young women of Marigot to get involved in, to prostitutes in a brothel.
But Melissa, isn't that what you guys have created? As a result of the shortness of jobs, right now we call it making the B word, B-O-M, YouTube. I think YouTube thinks I said, the Middle Eastern people. Well, you know what I'm talking about right there. But Melissa, you guys have destroyed the economy and create the very thing that you're trying to characterize the other guy for trying to make, which he did not. I never heard him say anything like that. I didn't see what she's talking about. But you guys created that environment. Literally. While I growing up, brothers and sisters, I never knew about people having strip clubs and this kind of things there. It have one right now. I know. And I know a partner that runs it in Dominica. That is the kind of jobs that you guys have created. And not even that is just outside the stretch, you know. We even talk about, normally speaking, brothers and sisters, of the economy not doing well. And as a result of that, little girls out there know that maybe their father or mother cannot provide monies for them. So they have to be going out there. There's a story that was done with them trying to help one of the girls. If you guys know what I'm talking about, I don't want to call any names. But they were trying to help the girl, and she was giving a story about how she was making money. And that means she was doing that very thing, sleeping around with different people so she can make money. That is the very environment that you guys have created as a result of the lack of jobs, and you're trying to make it seem as if that is what the other guy trying to do, when that is what you guys have created.
Mr. Speaker, it is clear that he's more interested in fulfilling his own personal desires and not really addressing the core issues of the people who put him in this place to represent them. He says woman time, like it is a bad thing. Oh, too many PSs are women and we're in high positions. Yes, indeed, it is woman time.
Let me see. You should not, Cynthia is saying, you shouldn't assume as you will make an arse out of yourself. Yeah, no, I am. So what I'm saying is, as a result of the cause and effect, this is literally what is happening in Dominica. When there's no jobs, when there's very little employment, and women want monies, what they tend to do to get monies from maybe guys who are working bus drivers or individuals, construction workers, or these kind of people there, they tend to sell themselves. This is not makeup or hearsay. This is actually happening in Dominica. Literally happening in Dominica. This is why the sentiment 10,000 for the WAP came into being, even though she was overseas, but on the basis of somebody in Dominica. That was being stated right there. This is a literal fact of what is happening in Dominica. Literally.
Maybe it is a woman that is needed to be able to champion the cause for the people of Marigot. So I'm willing to offer my help, Mr. Speaker. I can help put the member of Marigot to work. We have lots of work in the Ministry of Housing. In fact, I can put you, I came here, Mr. Speaker, a year ago, appealing to all members here to tap into this program of we're providing free hurricane ties in abundance in the Ministry of Housing, Mr. Speaker. None of them tapped into this program, not one of them. I can give you a pallet of hurricane ties and screws and nails. You can do your whole village, member for Marigot. You can prevent a whole roof from flying away, Mr. Speaker, in this wind. So, Mr. Speaker, I urge him to do some constructive things. Community ministry, we have work to do. We have plenty things to do. You can do your whole village.
So why you do build Roseau? Why, with all the nails and stuff, with all the dilapidated buildings and stuff you seen around Roseau? Melissa, you are the PAL rep for Roseau Central, and you say you have the equipment to do things, but we're not seeing that in use. So you mean to tell me, just like the hams that they were being served during Christmas time, you waiting for these things to rust or expire? Huh? Well, I don't think nails and things can expire, but rust out and, get these materials weakened. So they just sit down there. Melissa, come on. You said it on your own self in that regard. You say this stuff is there. We've seen a number of things across the place. I need of elevation. You talk about the 2014 agenda that all you had for Roseau, elevation, Roseau enhancement project. 2014, you came earlier, last year I think you did. You said Saudi Arabia came in and it's like a call from heaven, or you got $2 million from Saudi Arabia. Where is that project that you're talking about? But you want to talk about lots of projects that can be done and yourself not in fulfilling what you say you'll be doing? Melissa, come on.
Instead of doing nothing,
stop it, man.
Something. So let us do something.
Do something, Melissa. Do something. You make a promise to the people since 2014. You talk about Roseau enhancement project. Or you decide the other day, or you go around Roseau looking like as if all you can do something. Nothing come from it. Then you just talk about Saudi Arabia coming and give all you $2 million and it's like a fall from heaven. Oh, it just came into our lap. Then we finding out that most likely was not the case. you probably misinterpret what these people say to the point where Skerrit had to go Saudi Arabia and get loan. What has happened with that loan? Was that loan used to pay teachers? Because to me, when you get in a loan, That loan supposed to be used for something, not true? What was that loan used for? Maybe to pay teachers, maybe to pay the people, and then the people them have to pay back the loan. You getting loan for people who then have to pay back the loans. I don't think people understand how government works sometimes, you know. I don't think so. When government takes loans or they take your money in the bank, you that have to pay back the money that they take in your bank, in your account, they take the money. Boy.
Mr. Speaker, we recently conducted tracer exercises in the Kolibistri area, focusing on families whose homes were either completely destroyed or who faced vulnerability to return. The government supported the relocation of some families to Platmapir, while a few families were relocated to Grand Savan. And now we have 3 remaining families that we have to take care of. Additionally, we are advancing proposals for new residential subdivisions at Cabana View in Wesley, near the International Airport, which is formerly known as Jumbie Peace. Also Castle Bruce and Warner, with a total of 173 lots that will be available for sale. Mr. Speaker, as promised, we are safeguarding the lives of the East Coast relocation and the resettlement of Petit Soufriere, Good Hope, and San Sauver, particularly after the trough in 2022. Mr. Speaker, we often I don't know why people in Dominica like to compare Dominica to the USA and other first world countries. And they often like to compare our housing programs to those like the US.
But it's not the same thing now. Isn't that the same thing? Where they create housing for people who are in poverty-stricken areas, and then they give them welfare. You think the welfare is going to elevate them out of poverty? No, it's going to keep them there. This is not creating generational wealth. That is the same thing only doing in Dominica. People have to leave the area for them to better themselves. You ever hear a man rising in the ghetto environment, if it's outside of rap music? You ever hear people elevating, brothers and sisters? You ever hear anybody in Dominica elevating in the conditions that they be? This is why, brothers and sisters, I literally spoke about the Olympic athletes. It seems like we are happy that we are representation. Yeah, sure. But the athletes are not trained in Dominica, no? They are trained overseas. That is the same sentiment, brothers and sisters, how you creating generational wealth in a country that is not conducive economically for it. The businesses that were the strengths of Dominica back in the day, they themselves are going, they feeling the blunt, they feeling the stress. This is why some of them had to expand to other countries. There's a shop in Portsmouth, a store in Portsmouth, in Picard actually, that migrated to Antigua. It is still there. It's still in Dominica, but you have to expand to Antigua because of what the economy is doing. The people in Portsmouth know who I'm talking about. Let me see what you guys saying right there. I'm fed up with it. I go and drop, mic drop. Mr. Links are listening from PR. What is PR? Puerto Rico. The bossy boy that was captain. Them boots, teacher. Okay. Shannon is saying, give them. Why not give more about the planet, Dominica? Stop your dirty ways, man. Shannon is saying that. Jerry Nelson, she should go sit down her line self. She's not gonna sit down, man.
But it's essential to understand the unique economic, historical, and social context that shape each nation's approach. So allow me to explain the approach in Dominica that we have that is both appropriate and beneficial. In the US, for example, Mr. Speaker, social housing varies across quality, different states and cities.
She do just see that we like to compare Dominica to America. Then she's going now on a tirade to compare Dominica to Antigua to America. Hey,
and so the system includes subsidizing rent in privately owned homes and free apartment style housing in what is sometimes called the projects. However, they regularly reassess the eligibility for social housing, which can lead to serious mental stress. So yes, you live in free housing, but imagine the anxiety you face every year because the government have to come and reassess your housing and see, and you could face the news of being disqualified for social housing, and you could be kicked out of your home just because maybe your financial situation increases slightly, even though you still cannot afford market rate rent.
That is false. Melissa, where you get that information from? That is false. On the basis of assessing, they don't need to come to your home to assess anything. They can literally see it in your taxes. Melissa, what are you talking about, man? What are you talking about, bruh? If you get in a higher job somewhere and you're getting paid somewhere, more money somewhere, you getting paid more, you will stay in the same place to get the same treatment, the ghetto treatment. There are people working as nurses in the ghetto. Obviously, they don't get the kind of salaries normally people would get higher, but they still getting a substantial amount of funds. Do you see they moving out, they kicking them out from there? They don't kick them out, Melissa. So what are you talking about? The government runs a system where you can literally see your wages, your earnings, through tax and then be able to tax you accordingly. What that have to do if you get it? Hey, I don't know. I really don't know.
In some countries, Mr. Speaker, in the UK, often the rate that is paid for subsidized rent is against their income. And it's interesting to note that in first world countries, they're manufacturing construction materials. We don't manufacture construction materials here. They can print their own currency, Mr. Speaker, yet still such strict regulations are in place for social housing.
Yeah, that's not the case, Melissa. I don't know where you get that. It cannot be America you're talking about.
If they have to evict someone due to a waiting list of more needy individuals, it speaks volumes to their...
Madam, I think I know what she's talking about. She's probably, and I know this situation directly. There are individuals who used to raise children. No, they normally subsidize housing for single parents' homes. Single parents' homes where the mother is the main person and she has children. When she has children, the government say, okay, you pay $200 or $300 or even give you a house for free. So you can stay there. You stay there for a number of years while you raise your children, while they try to get you jobs so you can elevate yourself. When you elevate yourself, your children are able to go to school and this kind of things there. It still happens. I think the government does this for 18 years. It's just that I didn't know the continuity part of it, because the person I knew who had children, she raised enough money so she can buy her own home. And she has her daughters living with her in that home. So the continuity part of it, I did not get, or maybe it's 10 years or thing, but I knew it was 18 years that the government tends to take care of the children, put them in public housing and this kind of things, blah, blah, blah. So I don't know where Melissa getting that. But the only way you'll be evicted is if you have your house and the bank coming for you and you're not able to meet your quotas, then they evict you. That is how it happens. So I don't know where Melissa get, which part of America, maybe certain parts of America she's talking about. But the places I know, New York, we're strong in these kind of things, New York, Miami, and a number of these places there, I know that doesn't happen.
Circumstances. So rather than criticizing our housing program that has been working for our people, other islands are trying to actually emulate what we are doing here.
The other islands are trying to do the same thing that you guys are trying to do, because you're trying to control the masses. By controlling the masses, the people who are being elected, the government officials, will be then gain control of their citizens. But in places that are actually progressive on the understanding of the economy, not morally, but on the economy, there is a difference. So you say they're trying to implement that, it's not the same thing, no? Especially when government officials are literally trying to help their people, whereas you guys are trying to take away that right from the people. There's two different things. That's two different things.
So that is why we have to appreciate what our neighbors get, our friends, our families, our members, our parents, that they can live in greater comfort, assured that this government will never force them out of their homes. We will never put them on the streets, Mr. Speaker. My friends, the grass is not always green on the other side.
Well, let them start talking about labor now. Let them start talking about labor. You remember the partner in St. Joseph? When he put out and he said Miss King wasn't doing nothing for thing and wanted people to join him, and the other people were scared because they might lose their housing or lose their jobs. Try doing that now. You talk about you will never lose your house. Let the people come out. Why when people in certain places, they asking them what they doing there? Because they have the right, they feel they can tell. You as a grown adult, that is something else. When man can ask you what you doing there, When you have the autonomy to be there because you choose to be there, they asking you what you doing there. It's like your mother and your father tell you, what you doing there? Go home. So even if you wanted to be somewhere for you to learn another scope of what is taking place in Dominica, they asking you what you doing there. How a man can ask you what you doing there and you are a grown adult, unless he feels like he has leverage over you? Somebody talk to me.
God for small mercies. Because if the government is providing relief to your grandmother, for example, by exempting her from paying rent, and all she has to worry about is just her utility bills, say thank God for these privileges because it is a blessing. Mr. Speaker, this government's housing revolution agenda has a strong biblical foundation. Jeremiah 29 says,
yes.
Build houses and settle down. Plant gardens and eat what you grow in them. Marry and have children.
Doesn't it tell you have to work? You just using a small portion, but doesn't it tell you have to work though? Okay.
That is why we will never stop helping to rebuild. We will never stop providing free housing, affordable housing for our people. And now, Mr. Speaker, we are targeting our working class to give them a hand up by providing land at a subsidized rate with low-cost building options and pre-approved mortgage rates from the banks, which I will speak about later, Mr. Speaker.
But the mere fact you have to target the working class on the basis of building housing, doesn't that mean it's almost next to impossible to build houses? So if it's almost next to impossible to build houses for the working class, aren't you guys the one in charge for this? Shouldn't it be on the merit where you don't have to intercede, where the people can actually work and get their stuff? When nurses have to go to the bank and say, I want to get a loan to build my house, and the bank is telling them, you don't have enough for you to build a house. Doesn't that tell you something? And nursing in Dominica is one of the best professions you can have. Nursing, banking, nursing and banking is the main ones. You understand where I'm going with this, guys?
In March, my ministry recognized and hosted the first ever Housing Resilience Financing Symposium. And this event brought together about 80 stakeholders of various sectors, highlighting our efforts to building a resilient housing sector.
Jerry, I have to go through it too, eh? So all you better stay with me. I have to go through it too. And it's like she's saying anything over and over, so you can't, hey, I have to go through it too. All you better stay with me there. I understand. Jerry said, Mr. Lix, I had enough of that liar. I just need them out of office. I agree. I need them out of office, and she's making it seem like, everything is fine and dandy. If reality doesn't coincide with what you're saying sooner or later will come out to be true or false. Well, if it's based off reality, it will definitely come out to be false, because what you're saying is against reality. Shannon, what your mother and father couldn't do for you, Labour has done for you. Yes, Labour has put you into problems. I'm sure your mother and your father didn't want to put you in problems, so be that the case, they put you in problems, economically speaking.
It's been a great challenge in our housing agenda, as many of our families lack formal land ownership documents, and a significant number live in highly exposed areas.
Isn't that you guys' fault? Isn't that you guys' fault? Guys, it's one thing. This is one of the reasons. Remember when they dropped the titles? I think they have to do with owning housing and buying land and this kind of things there. And the government dropped the pricing as a result of themselves doing the same thing around that time, where people had to benefit from it. So if you are so fortunate around that time, you benefited from it. Melissa them dropped the prices for their benefits, and as a result of the other people benefiting, whoever around that time could benefit, then c'est la vie. So isn't that as a result of you guys?
So in response to this symposium, we continue to assist Dominicans to obtain formal land ownership documents, and we'll also increase awareness of the importance of affordable home insurance. Our plans for the next year include training programs for construction professionals. We want to build capacity and to equip our tradesmen with the skills and to implement modern resilient practices.
Didn't you say that last time? When the talking points, what she stated right last time, she probably changed up a few words in there. Guys, compare what she said now with what she stated last time. In the last one. Compare it, guys. Or compare that to the previous ones she has done before.
We're at a critical time in our nation's development. And as we face climate change, we must not only prepare ourselves for severe hurricanes, but for flooding, earthquakes, heat waves, droughts, intense wildfires, Mr. Speaker, and other natural disasters that we could potentially face. But together with our strategic partnership, we will build a stronger and more resilient Dominica. Our home renovation and sanitation program embodies the Labour Party's commitment to better living. And through the efforts of the Prime Minister, I am pleased to announce that we are gearing up to renovate and build on privately owned land about 100 homes across Dominica. I'm relieved, Mr. Speaker.
I don't know. They keep saying that as if that is a badge of honor that they should be pushing. Building homes for people because you guys destroy the economy is not a good thing, no? I'm trying to figure out how is that a good thing, eh? Guys, help me understand if that is a good thing or not. Let me see. Oh, Animation Horizons, big up yourself one time. Where you watching from, Animation Horizons? The government need to diverse the economy and save the agriculture sector. Yeah, the root of Dominica is the agricultural sector, not housing. If we build back the sectors, you are able to create jobs, numerous jobs for people. One of the industries that I know that could help, or one of the sectors within agriculture I know that could help, is the cannabis industry. And I literally keep pointing that out over and over because the cannabis industry in its infancy was a multi-billion-dollar industry, and Skerrit come on podium and say that the cannabis industry is not a growth engine for Dominica. Today, what they're trying to do, not put the cannabis industry, but whereas back in the day you might have 10,000 competitors, today you have 10 million competitors and you're trying to enter the market and you expect to do well. Brothers and sisters, based off the proposal that I saw that was sent to Skerrit, I saw it, you know, it would have required about 50,000 people and elevating to, I think, 120,000 people. Dominica don't even have that amount of people that could have been in that sector that is today almost $1 trillion, multi-trillion-dollar industry. Really? Agriculture is the way forward in Dominica, brothers and sisters, and we need to preserve ourselves. She talk about climate change, build back trees. Because we are not affecting the world. So why you talk about climate change as if something can be done when we are not the ones doing it? We can protect our rivers. We can build back our rivers. We can create alternative energies utilizing our rivers and the sun and the wind. I was even told that in the south of Dominica, in the Stowe area, has a lot of wind on the mountain. You can literally set up wind turbines down there to generate for the south of Dominica. Because wind down there is like, I think, 8 to 9 months. It's just constant wind down there. Obviously, it makes sense because the Atlantic Ocean is around that region. So it makes sense to set up these things. And with the forming the Royal Donkey. The UK, okay, big up yourself, Animation Horizons. Big up United Kingdom, massive. I want to make a spin there, you know. I don't need visa for me to go United Kingdom. Okay, guys, I'm just so I can make a spin there. I might make a spin later on. We'll see how that goes after maybe I come up from Canada or something. But we'll see how that goes as time goes by. Let's continue.
Quite, and many of my colleagues have been waiting because we all have quite a few requests for home renovations. But this time, Mr. Speaker, we're going big. God is good. A project delayed is not a project denied.
Project always delaying under Melissa them way. Project always delaying. 2014 you were saying about Rosa Enhancement Project. But you think you want to do all these great things? You can even do for your own constituency. But you want to do for the rest of Dominica. Hey, but Melissa, you good we? In a time where Dominica is struggling to even have monies. Just the other day I heard that people did not even get paid the appropriate amount of monies that they were supposed to get paid. But all you think, it seems like the government is the ones that first getting paid. Because I never hear government complaining about they not getting paid or they getting short paid. So most likely government people getting paid first. They should get paid last. That is how it should be. Because they are the servants of the people. How the masters getting paid after the government? I've never understand that. I will never understand that, guys.
We have successfully eradicated our pit latrines, while some countries, other Caribbean countries, are now starting this program, Mr. Speaker. Now they're starting to want to eradicate pit latrines. But I want to say that...
Melissa, we don't know if that is the case or not. But even if people are pit latrines, Melissa, what that have to do with the elevation of the economy Dominica has one of the worst economies in the Caribbean. And you're talking about pit latrines in other Caribbean countries that have better economy than Dominica. Boy.
The event that we have missed. Anybody across Dominica, I urge you to visit the Ministry of Housing, because I give you my word, we will upgrade you with modern restrooms right away, Mr. Speaker.
That's nice.
Our citizens are eager to purchase properties and to construct buildings.
They are eager, doesn't mean they can.
Young professionals, they want to buy because they want to build. Earlier this year, the Ministry of Housing advertised prime land owned by government, which is now for sale at competitive prices. We are in the process of cutting lots in the Jimit area. And I must say that with the new housing lots currently being subdivided in Jimit, we have received considerable interest. I don't know how we are going to go through the task of choosing 37 applications from a list of over 400 applicants, Mr. Speaker. And these are people who are qualified, who have the financial backing to purchase the land. Our road and drainage works have also begun in Warner. We have further projects at Hillsborough Gardens in St. Joseph, Cotton Hill, Casabruce, and we are offering lots for sale at great prices, Mr. Speaker, in Platma Pier, Kenfield East, Grand Bay. We have a few pocket areas in Georgetown, Portsmouth, Lily Valley, Belvirol, Stock Farm, and Emsall. Young people, build what you can afford.
You're right. That's good advice right there. Build what you can afford. And if you cannot build in Dominica, I encourage every young person to leave Dominica. You leave Dominica, whether you rent overseas or whatever, brothers and sisters, you are able to generate more money overseas. There are people that I know, the people that I know in Dominica leaving to go to the Caribbean islands, going in Dominica, doing jobs overseas, and they're making more, little jobs, they're doing overseas. And they're making way more money than they were making in Dominica, trying to hustle as hard as possible. Brothers and sisters, you know what I like about Dominica and the understanding of hustling? Hustling trains you in Dominica. When you see you hustling, it's training you to survive, brothers and sisters. So when you go in places that are better economy, you tend to do much better in these places than you would do in Dominica, because Dominica's economy is not conducive for growth.
Think of your future and invest in yourself. A house and land are the greatest assets that you can own, and your government is here to support you in this endeavor.
Well, a house is not the greatest asset you can own. Land is. Land, because land is asset. A house is a liability. You can sell the house. It depends on how you're doing it. Maybe real estate you're trying to do, where you buy a house for like 20% or put down 10% or whatever, and you buy that and then you fix up the house. You're able to rent it. If that is the case, it becomes an asset. But if you're not renting a house, making anything on the house becomes a liability, because you have to constantly spend on that house. So it's not just building a house and say, a house is asset. No, the land is the asset. House and how you utilize the house becomes an asset or a liability. If you're talking about building a home for yourself, that's great. That's good. But it's a liability. You have to understand how these things work, brothers and sisters. Let me see what you guys are saying right there. Shannon, build what you can afford. That's the only thing I heard sensible. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense right there. Build what you can afford. You cannot build what you cannot afford. The rate people are leaving might be 50. Yeah, I think 50,000. I think 50,000 here presently. Dominica has 50,000 people leaving presently, man, and there's probably less than that today. They claim it's 70,000 because they include in all the other people that tend to come. They include the Jamaicans that come in. They include the Venezuelans, the Chinese people who come to work in Dominica. They also include them part of the statistics. The Haitians that will come in, they include them in the statistics as well. So you have to be mindful of that. But there's a lot of Dominicans overseas. There's more Dominicans overseas than in Dominica. I remember at one point in time there was Creole in the park, and you saw every corner of Botanical Garden filled with people. Every corner. You will never see that if the population of Dominica is in the Botanical Gardens. Well, let me not exaggerate, but, based off the amount of people that were there, there are massive amount of people that came into Dominica. You cannot see that again, brothers and sisters.
In our efforts to provide the lots for sale to public officers and young professionals, we have achieved commendable success. We have allocated so far 50 lots during this period. And initiatives like the Nursing the Dream and the Landlocks program We're offering favorable rates and conditions for mortgages and budget packages.
The favorable rates that she's talking about are not that favorable. I remember doing a reaction on that and I was surprised. That is what you consider favorable. Because I remember, I think it was Tosi that was talking about it, and he was mentioning the very land that they were selling. They were selling houses for $15,000, I think. I think is in Guyana or Trinidad, one of those places there. Somewhere in the Caribbean or considered Caribbean, brothers and sisters, that the government has also created lands for professionals as well. I'm not land, I'm housing for professionals. And these houses were about $15,000. They're selling those houses for the professionals in Dominica for $400,000, if I remember correctly. $400,000. In an economy that is not doing well. When bankers, brothers and sisters, bankers complaining me. Bankers we. Yeah.
To empower people, the Ministry of Housing and Urban Development has established strategic partnerships.
Would the bank have to go to America and say they're trying to give loans to people in America, in the diaspora? I mean, come on, brothers and sisters. This is not a pie in the sky understanding, you know. This is reality right there. You forget the National Bank of Dominica had to say they go in America for them to see if they can get people to get loans. Nothing wrong with that, you know. You have your business, you try to expand your business. Whoop-de-doo. Nothing wrong with that. But I never heard that happen before. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I never heard that before.
The National Bank of Dominica and the National Cooperative Credit Union to facilitate government land sale program and to introduce customized financial agreements to stimulate more home ownership.
You have to also understand that they also mentioned, I remember at one point in time where Skerrit was talking about Aid Bank, and I think they were giving a low interest rate for was it homes? They was giving low interest rate for homes or whatever it is, brothers and sisters. I think 2% or less than that. And it was very, very difficult. I think for businesses, but it was very, very difficult for people to get these loans. Very difficult for people to get these loans. Into the point where Skerrit had to come up and say, Aid Bank, what we doing? Give the people the loans. You remember when Skerrit said that? But even if Skerrit saying that, doesn't mean I believe Skerrit actually mean what he was saying, you know. He's just saying it because it sounds nice. And the reason why I'm saying he says it sounds nice, because if you look at the economy, brothers and sisters, the economy is supposed to be elevating itself. The government is supposed to be putting things in place to elevate Dominican people. Instead, he's creating dependent people. That's why he's building houses and then putting them to work in NEP. Boy, you think you can create generational wealth from NEP?
Mr. Speaker, this partnership aims to provide financial packages to public servants, young professionals, and the Dominica diaspora as well, to support residential and commercial construction on Crown lands offered at concessionary rates. So starting next month, you will see promotions at an attractive offer.
Give us, if I see it, brothers and sisters, I will definitely post it all. But I remember reacting to it. It could have changed, but I remember that was very, very high. And Tosi was even talking about it too. Checking how the government can be offering this for professionals and the professionals in an economy that are not doing well. And where Tosi was literally walking around. You guys can look for the video. Look for the video and you will see I was reacting to Tosi talking about these things. And he was in the area where they had these houses building. And some nice houses, you know, don't get me wrong, some nice houses. So I don't know what they're talking about, 400,000 and this kind of things there.
It's going to be like a one-stop shop. We want it to be easy, where the stress and the challenges of building a home within a tight budget are completely eliminated. So I have met with the financial institutions, NCCU and NBD, and pre-negotiated a low mortgage rate specifically for this
Give
program.
us the rate. You see, they like to talk. You're saying a lot of things, but you're not telling us the rate. You come in parliament for you to talk, and you're not saying anything about the rates. You're not saying anything about what.
And it's an easy three-step process. All you need to do, you select your land for construction. You choose from the available designs that we have, 2 and 3 bedrooms, and then you opt for a mortgage with any of the financial institutions that we have pre-negotiated the low rates.
What are the rates? What are the rates? Melissa, what are the rates, Melissa?
This is no stress, no hassle, no headache dealing with contractors.
The reason why sometimes people, if something is so fantastic, guys, don't you think they will mention it? If something is so fantastic, extremely low rates for young professionals or for professionals, whichever you want to call it, Don't you think they would have mentioned the rates? Because what I reacted to is very high. Very high, brothers and sisters. To the point where if you want to put your grandmother house for what do you call her? Yeah, your grandmother, I don't know where she going to stay again. But that is something else, boy. And you cannot pay back because the economy is not doing well. What if you lose your job or something of that sort? Or you decide, you know what, you're talking and the government say, that person need to go, fire that person. It's not far-fetched, you know. Remember the college lady that was working since 2021? And she started complaining about her salary, maybe not coming on time or maybe too low. And what they did, instead they helped the lady, they fired the lady.
Simply observe your new resilient modern home being built, and within a few months, you'll receive your keys to a brand new property. Mr. Speaker, that is what you call a super sweet deal.
The super sweet deal will be me building my house without your intervention. You help the economy elevate so that spending power is done, so that people can actually make money in the land and then move forward. So all what you're saying there sounds nice, but that is on the basis of dependency. You create jobs for people so that people can elevate. You create opportunities for people to elevate. None of what you're saying there has nothing to do with opportunity to elevate, but to buy into what you want us to buy into. Make it make sense, brothers and sisters. Make it make sense. And I sure on the basis there will be property tax in. I will not even touch that one.
And I also want to challenge the private sector companies to provide furnishings, sofa sets, and cabinets, because the banks have always also got them to agree to include interior furnishings at the same low deal. And so with the National NBD of Dominica, we've been able to negotiate a low rate, which is much lower than mortgages across Dominica.
What is the rate?
A low rate of 4.5%, Mr. Speaker.
4.5%. What is the normal rate?
Find ever. With terms
2%, not 2% in each bank, it was
of up to 30 years, and commercial loans at interest rates from 5 to 8% with 15 years.
Brothers and sisters, you don't need to pay. Let me just organize and tell you something. Well, thank God she gave the rating 4.5. I think it's lower than the normal, so that's kind of good. But on the basis of that, brothers and sisters, how you beat the rating right there? Let's say you have not rent. You have your mortgage to pay. You pay a normal mortgage. So your mortgage is $1,000 a month. You see, then again, you need a good economy, good jobs for these kind of things. Anyways, you do something called the eighth. So if you have $1,000 you have to pay, you do 1/8 of the $1,000 and you pay that amount towards the principal on the 15th of every month. So you pay your normal $1,000, then you pay another amount, 1/8 of that on the 15th. In about 10 years' time, you'll be finished with the mortgage because you're working on the principal. Remember, you are dealing, when you pay in your mortgage, you are dealing with the interest first. You're dealing with the interest first. And then whatever remains after that, then you pay on the principal. But when you pay in your 1/8 on the 15th of every month, you are paying to the principal. And as a result of paying to the principal, your principal amount goes down bit by bit. You do that for 5 to 10 years. That should probably like 7 years. No, let me not give my thing. I think it's 13 years. That's the maximum in doing that. You can also put on your mouth. But the reason why they have the 1/8 principle on that is because they don't want to affect your normal livelihood. But you are literally working on the principal factor right there. That's how you end up paying your mortgage off very fast. And of course, you also beat paying more money on your mortgage.
And similarly, the NCCU offer low rates as well, and a low mortgage rate of 5% with repayment terms of a little longer, 35 years. Another super sweet deal, Mr. Speaker. These two programs will be launched in the coming weeks. Anybody interested? I say seize this opportunity, jump on it, buy to build. I don't know if you'll ever be able to get another opportunity like this. This is your sole chance to invest in your home at a remarkably low construction cost and mortgage rate.
Imagine you are able to buy your own land, and then you build your own house, taking your time, nobody have to rush you, whatever, and you build your home thing. I think that's a good thing right there.
Also, it has a potential to become future investment as a rental property or an Airbnb, Mr. Speaker. I'm also pleased to announce more milestones in the Ministry of Housing, Mr. Speaker, that we just recently broke ground on the construction of the future housing in Warner.
Okay, let me see what you guys are saying right there. Shannon. Shannon saying that whole budget is a lie. Yeah, I don't believe what the budget is saying at all. It's just them talking and bringing back the same points that they brought back from time past. Animation, the population rate is expected to go down to 60,000 by 2025. That's already done already. That's what I believe. Because I know a lot of people left Dominica right there. Build what you can afford. That's the only thing I heard. Okay. Let's continue down there. Animation saying when I get my money good, I'm gonna start a farm in Dominica and enable young people to gain knowledge in agriculture. That's a good thing right there. This government needs to start making opportunities for the people. This woman just chatting. Yeah, she's chatting without actually creating any sort of employment. I am looking to see how they are creating employment. It seems like you're just buying into something with them actually trying to fix the economy. None of the growth factors are growing. You need agriculture, one, to be the foundation of Dominica's growth factor. That is dead or dying. Some people say I shouldn't say dead, but it is dying, brothers and sisters, and that is not good at all. Then you have tourism. It should spill from agriculture to spill over to tourism. Then from tourism should spill into education and a number of things, building that sector up bit by bit. But the root should be agriculture. That is not happening in any way, shape, or form. And as a result of that, the country will constantly be stagnant and not go anywhere at all. Auto 718, we need a military government. Okay then.
Mr. Speaker, this project will redefine luxury living in Dominica. Because these homes are not just structures, they represent a revolutionary approach to home ownership. We're ensuring that our hard-working young professionals can simply drive up to their homes, unlock their door, and step into their modern space that they can call their home, a dream fulfilled without the stress of construction.
They need money for that. You're trying for them to live luxury. That's nice. But as somebody indicated right there, and I thought it was rather interesting, what the person's saying, everything is to benefit them. Yes, Shannon is saying that, and I agree. It seems like maybe the government has taken certain monies from wherever, and they put in NBD and say, okay, these monies will be going into the home. So when people come for loans, you give them that money. But they are the ones benefiting from it. Not true? It could be. Because when you look at certain insurance companies and you want to use the monies yourself, you can literally do that. You put monies into the insurance companies and you use the monies how you see it fit. Right there. You take a loan against the money. While your money keeps growing, you take a loan against it and you use that money for your benefit. And then if you default on it, then they'll take the money from the death benefit. That's how the rich does their thing, guys. I'm not just talking for talking sake, you know. I know what I say.
As we embark on development in Cotton Hill, imagine owning the privilege of owning a high-end property within a leisurely stroll of the marina coming and the prestigious Intercontinental Cabaret. It's truly a lifestyle second to none.
You forget Kepinski go, man. Why didn't say Kepinski? There's a reason why Kepinski go here. The reason why Kepinski go and no Intercontinental is here.
Diasporans, if you're hearing me, I'm speaking to you. Many of you contacted me, you want to come home. Here is your opportunity to invest. They have the money. This subdivision will not only provide exquisite living spaces, but also catalyze economic growth, aligning perfectly with our marina to come and the bustling businesses that is soon going to grace the area. To support all these new initiatives, Mr. Speaker, we are seeking to engage more of our small contractors, our tradesmen, and our artisans to ensure that they have the support needed to contribute to our resilient goals.
That's good. It's been a while that Dominicans have been looked at for them to get jobs. But at still present, we have most of the jobs being handled by whom? Foreigners. So At least that is a step in the right direction, so that's good.
And so we recently introduced in the Ministry of Housing website. If you log on there, you will see our newly established database of contractors who have collaborated with the ministry and the wider government. This database allows users to search for contractors across Dominica and skilled tradesmen across Dominica by geographic area and the area of expertise. Additionally, it offers for new opportunities for registrations.
That sounds like an idea that my cousin had, eh? I don't know if you guys know, Shop 767 was previously my cousin's own. He was the one who started Shop 767. He had an app and everything like that for it, and people used to buy in, and I guess he stopped doing it when he left Dominica. And I guess I saw another Shop 767 just pop up out of the place or whatever. That's fine. But within that realm, one of the things that he wanted to push was so that people could download the app, and you pretty much, it's like a one-stop place where you get everything. You need carpenters, you need this set of people, you want to know where to go, what activity it has, these kind of things. He had this on his platform, and I think he sent that thing to the government of Dominica. They must have reviewed it, and I'm guessing they took ideas from that to run it, because what she's saying there is something according to what my cousin had or was planning to do based off his business plan on it. He had an app for it, by the way. I was one of the individuals who had promoted that app of his. So I knew what was in there and the talks that we had in that regard. So I knew. So I'm guessing they probably took that idea for them to run with.
Because the fact is, Mr. Speaker, sometimes diasporans want to do things here, but it's almost...
Diasporans always wanted to do things here. I know a number of diasporans that came from Canada and the United States and wanted to set up business at the time when the government, Skerrit, was saying that people from overseas will be flocking back to Dominica to take advantage of the opportunities that are there for them. Apparently they came, they used a set of money in Dominica and nothing came through and they had to leave. I was part of one of the people who were trying to do something when it comes down to the establishment to utilize his thing. I was one of the people that they were looking with. So I know when they came down, they linked with the government of Dominica, 8 Bank or whatever, and nothing happened. Man tell me he spent how much money in that trying to organize different things and nothing happened from it. And then Melissa is coming back with the same talking point that Skerrit used, but it's just that she said it now and somehow it will be believable. Okay, continue.
It's like you have to know somebody who knows a plumber, or you have to have direct contact with an electrician. But if you come to this directory, it's a valuable resource. We have listings of architects, engineers, builders, electricians, plumbers, tilers, carpenters, joiners, painters, landscapers. We included interior designers.
That is probably what she's talking about, jobs and jobs and jobs. That's probably what she's talking about. But you need people to have to come from overseas for people to get these things. That's probably what she was talking about. She see more jobs and jobs and jobs.
As well, blind installers, window cleaners, handymen, and upholsterers across Dominica. Easy access. Mr. Speaker, a platform for contractors to showcase their services and reach even a broader audience. We have done
nothing wrong with what she's trying to do there. Like I told my cousin when he was thinking of that idea, that's a good idea. So I'll say the same thing for her as well.
The groundwork by providing the links to access these tradesmen and professionals in every community in Dominica.
Let me see what you guys are saying. Animation horizons. The music industry could also become big and put in things like solar panels on houses. I suspect you were listening to the podcast because that's what we were saying right there. Putting solar panels on all houses across Dominica to help the grid, because if you're not meeting the capacity and people have to constantly be taking, Dominica has to constantly be taking power, then helping put solar panels on every house would also help the grid. Imagine now we have to look to try to help the grid because the government doesn't want to organize things for Dominic. Not true. Anyways, become more climate resilient country. Right there. Valda Eloy, lies and more lies. What a bunch of shameless people in parliament. Well, you cannot really blame them. The people are enabling that to happen.
Mr. Speaker, as a Minister of Housing and Urban Development, I lend my support to address a crucial issue.
Melissa is the Minister of Housing. No wonder she's talking about housing like that. No wonder. But Melissa, what training you had in housing? Not the engineer that's supposed to be. Melissa, not computer science you see you do in school. how you end up becoming the Minister of Housing? What you see, guys, when you come about incompetence, don't get me wrong, you know, I think people have certain skills and don't necessarily need a degree for it. But what experience Melissa have in housing?
Issue that affects many Dominicans. The need to update our Tenancies and Rent Control Act. Because in the little time that I've been in this ministry, I've seen too many cases where tenants end up paying excessive amounts for poor quality housing simply because they don't know their rights. Or maybe they feel powerless to challenge exploitative practices.
I don't think that is the case. Although I agree to some extent with what she's saying right now, but I think the reason why they live in certain conditions is because the rent that they are paying is low. And if you have to build back this kind of houses for these people, don't get me wrong, I'm not saying people should live like cockroach, but I'm saying if you require certain things, then you should be able to pay the monies towards it. Because if I'm gonna put 20 million, not let me tell you, if I'm gonna put $20,000 into apartments, and you're paying $300 or $400, $500, if you two of all together, or you might pay $300 each. I actually know an individual that paying $500, $250 for him, $250 for his sister. They stay inside there. Okay, I actually know an individual like that. So let's say $500. If I'm to put $20,000 into your apartments to elevate the apartments and stuff, you won't be paying $500 anymore. You know, you'll be paying $750, $800. And now you are working in the same job that is paying you that amount of money. This is why you could afford the $500 with you and your sister. But now you want me to pimp up the place now because you're saying, okay, what not. Well, you will have to end up paying more money for that. And if your salary is $1,000 and you're trying to save $200, well, there goes your $200. So you're counteracting what your husband was trying to do when it comes down to budgeting.
Mr. Speaker, there are people paying rent in Dominica in places no electricity, failed plumbing.
Well, that the no electricity is not because of Dominica. I don't think anybody pay for places and they don't have electricity. If that is the case, then maybe the rent is $100, $200. Maybe. I would never understand you paying $500 and you have electricity. That's almost impossible. So I don't know where. Maybe Kalinago territory she talking about, or St. Joseph. Where's she talking about there? You paying rent and you have electricity in the house. Maybe in the bush. I know some white people has come down and they staying in the bush and they don't have electricity in those places. Maybe those places they're talking about. The person trying to experience poverty, so they come in those places and stay there for 2 days or a weekend, and then they go and stay keeping ski afterwards. Maybe that is what she's talking about. People living like that without the keeping ski part.
No toilet. They're sleeping on their bed. It's raining. Water is dripping on their head. Missing windows. Their front door cannot lock. Cannot close properly. The kitchen have termites. And they're paying rent for these conditions. Mr. Speaker, something has to be done.
Well, I agree if you're living in a place that have termites and this kind of things there. Something needs to be done for sure. But I'm talking about the upgrade of the establishment. If you want to upgrade the place, new tiles, all those kind of things there, blah, 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 and you're paying cheap, you know, you'll have to put on extra monies. And if that is the case, you living in the place and you're checking, okay, I pay that amount. Maybe if I'm living in a place, guys, and, you know, the landlord has certain things about them or whatever, you know, and I know there's termite, well, I will develop this. You can use simple sprays, you know, for termite. You get your solution together, you spray down the termite, you clean that out yourself and organize because you're paying rent and cheap rent. You might still leave that for the landlord. Okay, you can leave it for the landlord. What if the landlord doesn't want to ting you, but you're paying cheap rent? If you go somewhere else, you have to pay more. So you yourself have to do the work for paying cheap rent. I'm just saying. What are your thoughts on this, guys?
Because if you are paying a landlord for a place to stay, it's a basic safe housing accommodation must be provided. But, you know, we have some good landlords, of course. I would like to commend the many good landlords across Dominica who keep their place clean and ensure that the basic provisions are made for proper human living. But this update to our laws is essential to ensuring that our rental market is fair and transparent where everyone will get a better deal.
And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm not saying that everywhere, landlords don't try to cheat people. They do try to cheat people from time to time. Let me see what you guys are saying right there. Or 2718, government doing too much. That is why people running away. That making sense? The government doing too much, so people running away. Well, you're probably being sarcastic. Oh, okay. Okay, I get it now. Know it happening. Mshal had a house, so I was one of them. Oh, so you're paying $750 with no electric. Well, okay. Well, if that is the case, then I agree with Melissa on that regard right there. Are you paying $750 for no electricity? That's crazy right there. They took out the electricity. What? Well, I agree with Melissa when it comes down to your situation right there. Animation here again. If we had solar panels, electricity would be cheaper. Yeah, cheaper, and you'd also be able to supply the grid. I know people who have solar panels that are also helping supply for the grid as well. Also getting tidal energy from Atlantic. Yeah, yeah, I know about that one as well. The wave, when the wave rocks back and forth, it's constantly rocking. So there are people countries that actually have tidal wave energy, and because of the waves rocking back and forth, the friction that is generates electricity as a result of the movement of the waves. So I know about this one as well. We can probably do something in the Atlantic Ocean, but I think that one would be more costly. I think that would be more costly than solar and the wind turbines.
And so we are concerned about some of the shortcomings of this legislation, because there's a maximum rent of $800 that the law applies to. So if you're renting a place for $810, that means the law doesn't apply to you. It's not fair, Mr. Speaker. So we are asking that we cover all rental properties to ensure better living for our people. Within the last year, the Rent Office brought 80 cases to the Magistrate Court for issues of rent recovery, rent possession, and rent increases. These numbers highlight the pressing need for stronger protection and clearer regulations.
I agree.
Our commitment is
people cannot be taking advantage of people, so I agree with what she's saying right there. Facts.
To modernize our housing laws to better reflect the needs and the realities of today's society. Our goal is to guarantee everyone access to fair and affordable housing. So the re-establishment of the Tenancy and Rent Commission will play a pivotal role in this process.
But also, weren't you guys the ones who decided to increase the taxes on rental properties? That's probably why rent went up, because you guys increased the taxes on people, and therefore they had to increase the rent, and that is probably why people are paying more for less, so to speak. But I do agree that people should not be living in certain conditions, with certain basic needs and basic necessities that need to be in the establishments. So I do agree with that right there. Guys, I'm going to stay just 15 more minutes in that regard. And then I'm going to end this because I don't want to do it like last time, 2 hours and 30 minutes. No. But yeah, let's continue right here.
And so I encourage everyone who has rental issues to come to the Rent Control Desk at the Housing Division. Your feedback is crucial in helping us to make the right changes towards a rental market where fairness is guaranteed. Mr. Speaker, as we reflect on the last financial year, I am proud to highlight that our ministry plays a critical role in driving forward the dynamic Dominica. As a custodian of state lands, we have been instrumental in facilitating critical and successful acquisitions for our major projects across Dominica, like our international airport, our cable car, and our geothermal.
Big up to the cable car massive. I saw the cable car going back and forth. It kind of looks scary, but, progress. Progress is progress. I have to touch it for me to believe it. I see it, but I do believe in it yet. I have to touch it.
International airport in particular holds profound...
That international airport there, somebody just sent me the budgeting stuff from 2022 on the airport. So big up to the individual that sent me that right there. I don't know how you get that information, but big up. Thanks for sending it for me. I did review it bit by bit. I didn't see the whole thing. But based off what is going on, then I can refresh, go back into it. I'm not sure if you give it to me for me to put out. The person that sent that stuff for me, whoever sent me the airport budget and stuff, thank you. But I'm not sure if you sent it for me to put out there because it's interesting. But when there's certain things that people saying, I can always reference back to it right there.
Implications for our ministry's urban development portfolio, promising enhanced quality of life, improved living conditions, and increased economic opportunities that will no doubt lead to population spillover effects. Over 500 acres have been acquired for the International Airport Development Project in Wesley. And I heard.
Did you give the people the titles? Did you pay the people for the land? Has this been done? Can you address that for us, please?
The opposition member for the Marigot constituency question our interest and desire to compensate affected property owners.
Yeah, I just said that. Did you guys do it?
But I want to clear the air.
Clear it.
In fact, I want to educate him where this is concerned.
Educate us.
Our biggest hurdle is a compensation process.
So that's the hurdle.
And the proof of ownership, which is required by the law. The certification of titles being the most recognized form of ownership documentation.
A lot of people haven't gotten theirs.
So this process can be lengthy and complex. And the state cannot make payments to individuals who may have an interest in the property without the proper legal documentation.
So the titles of the land, even though they squatted on the land for a number of years, built their families on that land.
Doing so, we will expose the state to liability if another party were to come forward with a valid claim. Notwithstanding this, I am pleased to report, and he knows this already.
But shouldn't you gazette it? Like if there's something out there and say, just like the bank put out a memo and say people accounts have been inactive, and they put out the names of the individuals and say, okay, if you haven't made a claim by August 16th, I think, then they will send that monies out. Wouldn't you guys have to do the same thing too? For land, you have to do it. You have to put it out in the public. Before you even put anything out there, you have to put it out in the public so people can make a claim. If nobody makes a claim, then you have to go ahead. That's how it works. So, what is the issue?
That our investments in land and agricultural compensation, in total, we have paid private landowners for their acquired properties and crops well over $11 million, Mr. Speaker.
That is very low. So if it's 11 million, and let's say a house lot is like 100,000, that's about 1,110 people. Anyways, I think my maths might be off there, but we'll see. Let's continue.
And so I encourage our diasporans again and our potential investors to seize the business opportunities that are arising from the anticipated, I heard the Minister of Finance state that we expect 500,000 annual airport arrival. This is marking a new era of growth, Mr. Speaker.
No, I don't think my maths out of quarter, and I think you're correct. If you're paying everybody $100,000 for their land and $11 million, then obviously it have to be 110 people that get money. So you're probably lowballing the people's property. I think that's lowballing the people. Because I don't think land, I saw the other day they're selling a house in Salisbury for $500,000, $500,000 or $400,000, $500,000. They're selling the one-story house for $500,000. So if people had their house on the land, at least $500,000 would not equate to $11 million. Like me, all right then.
I want to encourage people to invest in small franchise eateries, some things that are not in Dominica yet, like Auntie Anne's and Cinnabon and Starbucks. As well as exploring opportunities for...
Sister, that don't make no sense. KFC was in Dominica, Domino's was in Dominica. No, KFC Portsmouth was in Dominica. A number of these businesses came to Dominica and did not survive. Domino's was here, Domino's was here, Subway was here, Ruel's was here. A number of them were there. So you want them to go back into that in an economy that is doing far worse than it was doing back then? Make it make sense, Melissa.
Duty-free shopping in the area, Airbnb rental, agricultural tourism, mini-marts, and different sorts of entertainment, Mr. Speaker.
You need economy for that, Melissa. It's not just saying, come and do that, no. You need economy for them things there.
And if they're looking for land, they can come to the Ministry of Housing because we offer prime land for sale near the international airport. The opportunities are before you. And in no way, a member of Marigot am I stating that this is an opportunity for you to invest in stimulating enterprises, but there are many other wholesome opportunities to explore. In the next year, we'll revise the land use plan for the Northeast.
I would really like to hear what Mr. was saying in that regard, because I think what she's saying there is not sounding like what he was saying at all.
Area and take advantage of the benefits of the new international airport. So I say to the people of Marigot, Wesley, and Woodford Hill, and Kalibishi, we promise you a brighter future. I hold close to me, Mr. Speaker, the Labour Party manifesto of 2019. You know, I always like to make my little to-do list, and I want to track the promises that I made to the people of Dominica, marking my check boxes as I feel.
You go to 2019, when you forget 2014. Melissa, Melox, you forget 2014. You always like to track, but you forget 2014. Not true. Or you selective. You pigeon picking.
Field programs, either adding more to the list.
Adding more to the list. You need to accomplish the previous before you add more, Melissa. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
That every ministry and every government program has made an impact on the Roseau Central constituency. So I want to thank my colleagues, Mr. Speaker, here today.
Let me see what she's saying there. Hold on, let me see what you guys are saying there. Here again, so animations is saying here again. If we okay, well, I read this already. So yeah, it would be more costly when the economy gets better. The economy getting better would of course increase prices, but Dominica economy is not getting better and prices still going up. So I think we'll have some catching up. We have some catching up to do right there. What would you say your hopes are for Dominica in the future? Well, the hopes for Dominica first is to get Skerrit them out of Dominica and then utilize agriculture. As any proper thinking person know that Dominica is residing in soil, water, and what? Land. Well, sun. So we have these things, we can utilize these things. If I was somebody, the first thing I would go after is agriculture. The next thing I would go after is entertainment, on the basis of trying to provide things for the tourists who come to Dominica for them to do, because apparently when tourists come to Dominica, the only thing they can do is go on beach or go river or ride around in a bus and hopefully hope that the bus doesn't stop in Collio Hill going up. That is something that would be vital right there. So entertainment, like water parks, you know, gaming areas, this kind of things there. Or on the basis of trying to promote Dominica, most likely utilizing different places that involves rivers, you know, river rafting and this kind of things there. Jamaica tends to do a lot of these things. A lot of people tend to go on their rafts and stuff. I think that's something that Indian River should look into. Have rafts instead of having these rowboats. So you have the people sitting on the rafts and it has more of a natural feel to it. So that's something I think would go handy. But the very first thing would have to be agriculture right there. And then go into entertainment and then tourists. When you have these things set up, then you can look into the airports and different ports of entries so that more people can come in, because there's activities to be done.
With the commencement of the Roseau Enhancement Project this year, we are nearing the fulfillment on all our promises. In fact,
boy, look like, didn't we just do a walkthrough for Roseau? She say nearing completion. Maybe the design she talking about. Maybe the design. I always trying my best to help them out. Maybe the design she talking about, because we just did a walkthrough. Well, not me, but I just reacted to a walkthrough. We did all across Roseau. We did by inland revenue area, where the cleaning area, particular area. I'm still not sure what exactly going to be doing in that area, but apparently I'm hearing it's somebody else that doing something there. But it seems like they want to claim is they that doing it. So it's very interesting. Then we also did the interior of Roseau. The only part we did not do, well, me reacting to, was the bridge area, the bridge side of Roseau. So maybe in the future we will get to see one like that. And it doesn't seem like anything is being done in that regard right there. So I don't know what Melissa mean almost done.
I have found myself expanding as our progress continues. As you may
You need progress continues. You need to start somewhere before progress can continue. You cannot have no progress and say progress continues.
know, recently, through my collaboration with the Dominica Olympic Committee and Pan Am
Okay, so that's what I'm talking about right there.
Sports, we started the rehabilitation of the former Dominica Club, expanding sports and recreational activities.
So I think it's a sports building they're going to put there.
We are refurbishing the tennis courts. We will bring back squash and badminton to this area. We will also introduce a new sport called pickleball, and there will also be a rollerblading ring.
That's nice, but I think we should be focusing on the economy first before you provide this kind of entertainment. This is why I said let's start with agriculture, but apparently they don't want to go to agriculture because that will make people independent of them. So let's go to entertainment, so we can entertain the people within their poverty. I think that is very shocking stuff right there.
This also allows for extra spin-offs, extreme sports like skateboarding and even bicycle stunts. I think this new...
We have the hospital to cater for that. I remember Dr. Dongleben was talking about the bike activities that was done, and he was saying there's a number of, it's a good thing, yes, great, but do we have the healthcare capability to facilitate if something were to happen? Skateboarding and these kind of things, there requires air from time to time. If you get my drift, where there's a lot of broken bones when it comes down to the situation, can Dominica handle it? So we would then need to handle the healthcare department before you put this up. Or you'll have to have a set of people flying out because they break their bones trying to do stunts and trying to be BMX riders and this kind of things. Tony Hawk, they're trying to be Tony Hawk.
One exciting development will become a new hotspot given promenade competition, Mr. Speaker.
Promenade of competition? Promenade is a competition. I just pass Roseau sometime, brothers and sisters, and promenade dryway. It seems like the only time promenade have a little life is on the basis of when it's month-endly and there's a little music playing. In fact, it's a good thing I had a meeting, a sit-down with Glenroy Soso. Guys, I think I'm going to stop it here. I think I'm going to stop it here. Well, I have like 2 more minutes. So, but when I was having a sit-down with Mr. Glenroy Soso, United Workers' Party's candidate for Roseau Central, Melissa's competition in Roseau, she won him by 160 votes of that sort. Most likely, they brought in people to tilt the scale. But when I was talking to Mr. Glenroy Soso of Roseau Central, he indicated to me that the promenade had more businesses, and these businesses were hiring individuals. So I think he told me there were 15 cubicles that were there. They took it out to make 10. So there were 15 cubicles, and each 15 cubicles hired about 2 people. That was about 45 people employed. Or 3 people. I think it's 3 people he told me was employed. That means 60 people were employed. But now you have 10, which means you have a drop in employment. So competition from Promenade, Melissa, would be on what basis? On the entertainment aspect? Because there's not much entertainment going on there. I could be wrong. Anyways, guys, let me just continue a little bit and then we'll end.
We're catering to both
we just reached till 50.
locals and cruise ship passengers. And I would like to appeal to the agro-processors to make products regularly available.
Cruise ship passengers going to be playing in
as there will be a strictly local section to specifically target our tourists. It will encompass an area. This area will be a fusion of our sports, our culture, and entertainment.
So cricket.
Mr. Speaker, our teenagers in Dominica are looking for good, wholesome fun. And so this...
You sure? Because they're all about that nasty business right now, eh? So good, wholesome fun. Well, let's see if it can happen. I all for the good, wholesome fun, you know. But you see the teenagers looking for it. It seems like it's nasty business.
This will be a place where families and teenagers can gather to rollerblade, and even tourists rollerblade to our booyah music. They can watch an exciting game.
To nasty business.
Game of tennis and sipping on freshly squeezed cane juice, which you're going to bring back to the city. This development will boost...
Don't get me wrong, you know, I for what she's saying, but I don't think that should be the priority right now.
Our local tourism and stimulate economic activities, contributing to a vibrant and thriving Roseau.
Yeah, you need vibrant and thriving Roseau
project in the
with
city
economic activity. Economic activity in the terms of people having monies in their pocket to do these things. You need spending power. I understand we might not have the population, but at least the spending power can help.
Roseau Enhancement Project is nearing the start line of the next phase. We remain resolute that once this revolutionary aspect begins, transformation will unfold. And I have been working alongside the Financial Secretary and a subcommittee of expert individuals in preparation for the launch of this program. And it may be one, in fact it is.
15 more minutes.
15. It's like you putting the cart before the horse. That's what happened in there.
10.
Mr. Speaker, I move that the Minister of Housing be given an additional 10 minutes to complete her presentation.
It has been moved and seconded that the Honorable Skerrit be given an additional
But you didn't ask. That's
10 minutes. Those in favor?
Hey, that Mr. Speaker there was not easy, there, boy. He didn't ask. Now he asking those in favor.
Those against? The ayes have it. Honorable Skerrit, you are given an additional 10 minutes.
So as I was saying, the road enhancement project, it may be one of the most complicated projects. Revamping an old city, something which has never been done in the other Caribbean islands. But nevertheless, we are on track to appoint a community liaison officer and assemble a team of highly skilled professionals. And we will be gearing up to engage all the stakeholders, including our residents, our business owners, and the vendors. Meanwhile, Mr. Speaker, we forge ahead, tapping into international organizations like UN Women. Earlier this year, we successfully tapped into one of the SDGs, 11, Sustainable Cities and Our Communities, by pitching the idea of a Go Green bus.
Sustainable cities. Isn't that the 15-minute cities she's talking about?
11, Sustainable Cities and Our Communities, by pitching the idea of a Go Green bus store which would transport shoppers to women-owned business. This also aligns with our march towards climate resiliency as we make an appeal to establish the first Go Green bus, the first ever.
That's how I finish. Guys, if you want to go check that out, it's on the Government of Dominica YouTube page. Just look for that. Just look for that. And you will get the rest of this stuff right there. But I think I'm going to end it right there, guys. But, I mean, some of the things make sense. Some of the things I think is putting the cart before the horse. Some of the things are just things that you are reiterating. Doesn't mean it's actually, going to be done, because you're talking about Roseau Enhancement Project since 2014, and we are back with it again. Let me see what you guys have to say before we end. Auto 718, when they finish that international airport, that is when the real. Okay. Martinez, big up yourself right there. Shannon is saying Roseau still the same, untidy. No sidewalk, please. I'm near completion. I get what you're saying. I what near completion. Melissa just talking for talking's sake. Steele's Vlogs is in the building. With a sidewalk in that tongue. It's just Shannon just asked that right there. Let me see. Animation Horizons, you're right. Get the healthcare. Yeah, you have to get the healthcare first to do these things, because if you put in entertainment for people to skate and then people end up breaking their bone and breaking their body, it might not be a good thing. I don't think that'll be a good thing at all. Anyways, guys, I think I want to end it right here. What are your thoughts, man? What are your thoughts on the whole situation right there? It's interesting that Melissa is trying to make claims as if, she knows what she's doing. I hope she knows what she's doing, but doesn't sound like she knows what she's saying. Is pretty much on the basis that it sounds nice, it sounds nice to say, but not necessarily on the doing aspect, because not now they're talking about that elevation for Roseau since 2014. I think they even spoke about that before that. It's just that we have a pivot point where we actually know where she started saying these things right there. So maybe we'll just have to wait and see if these things are going to be implemented. We already know for a fact that when the budget is printed, somehow, the monies don't get utilized for what they say that they're going to be utilizing. Yesterday, we seen the office of the Prime Minister's money is going up, So I think that is also very interesting right there. Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts, man? Leave your thoughts in the comment box below, guys. I think I'm going to end it right here. In that regard, thanks so much for being with your boy on this reaction vibes. I'll try to do, there's more. There's another one that I saw involving Mr. Paris. So if you guys want me to do that, you will let me know that in the comment box below, guys. But I'll also post the latest reaction I actually did on the Miss Licks reaction, guys, in the first comment in the comment box below, guys, so you guys can check it out right there. But your boy is about to go. Thanks so much once again, brothers and sisters. It's about Miss Licks once again. Be real, salute the king, be positive.